Depression is a very popular condition, but little understood by many people all around the world. And there are so many people suffering in silence, having depression, but not either understanding it or knowing what to do about it. Now, depression is not just about feeling sad or feeling unhappy. It is a serious but very important mental health condition. Depression, how do we define it? In very simple terms, depression means a state of low mood, loss of interest in usual activity, and a state of very low energy. So anyone who has depression would need to look out for those three symptoms that I mentioned, although I will still explain to us a whole lot more about depression and the symptoms. But the key things you need to look out for is a state of low mood, especially that has persisted for about 2 weeks, loss of interest in usual activities, and very low energy. So someone who has depression or struggling with depression is going to experience something like everywhere just becomes dark to the person, and then the motivation, the enthusiasm to deal with everyday activities becomes so lost, and then they don't have that zest for life as much as they used to have it. So that is a brief definition of depression. So what are the symptoms? Like I said, people who are suffering from depression would have very low energy. They just want to stay put in one place. They just want to be in bed and sleep all day. They don't have that motivation for the things they used to do on a regular basis. Also, they have low mood, which can be in form of sadness. It can be in form of someone just feeling so unhappy, so down, so blue, and feeling so gloom. Also, activities that used to be interesting, which can be something like saying hello to your neighbor, to your friends, or going to work, going to school, going about your regular activities, or things you used to enjoy, like exercising, like playing football, like going to maybe a place of worship, like singing, like dancing. You lose interest in all of these things. These are some of the symptoms. And depression, we have to say, also has physical symptoms. Some of the physical symptoms may include headache, constipation, indigestion, loss of appetite, or eating so much. So it's either a loss of appetite or maybe eating too much. It can also be in terms of sleeping too much or not even sleeping at all, which is known as insomnia. These physical symptoms sometimes makes the medical practitioners to misdiagnose depression until they now find that, okay, this individual has been in this state of low mood and loss of interest and reduced energy for an extended period of time. So these are some of the symptoms of depression. So what are the causes of depression? Very important to note. Now, depression can be caused by biological factors. What do I mean? In the brain, there are some neurochemicals that are transmitted by some cells, special cells referred to as neurons. So whenever there's an imbalance in the proportions of this neurochemical, then the individual is likely to experience depression. Also, there are genetic factors. It has been found that some people are genetically predisposed to experiencing depression. For example, some families have a history of battling with depression, and it becomes a recurring factor, recurring condition in that family. And research has also established it actually that when twins were studied, identical twins especially, if one of them has the tendency to experience depression, then most likely the other person will experience depression as well. Now, there are other factors apart from biological factors that can lead to depression. We have behavioral factors. What does this mean? You know, every human likes to have what we call ambitions or pursue their prospects and such things. But when the reward you get for your efforts, when the reinforcement you get for such efforts keep falling short and over time and consistently, it can lead some people into experiencing depression. So reduction in the reward that you get out of your life's pursuit can actually lead to depression. And there are social factors too that can cause depression. Some of them are majorly about important life transitions. Contrary to people's beliefs that when you get married or when you gain admission into university or so, it's a very good thing. Of course, those are good things, but sometimes they come with certain pressure that many people are not prepared for, and they can lead to symptoms that will gather up and later transform into depression. For instance, marriage that comes to some people out of excitement. After some time, they may start finding that it's not as bubbly and as blissful as they expected. Now, divorce can also lead to depression, obviously, because that's a big social problem. Also, childbirth can lead to depression. We've had people who experience things that are referred to as postpartum depression. It's a form of depression. And very quickly, I would like to say that there are different forms of depression, but the most popular ones, are the severe depression, also referred to as unipolar depression, in which the person experiences these symptoms I have described, a state of low mood and loss of interest. And there is also the popular one, bipolar depression, or some call it bipolar affective disorder. This is when the person experiences a state of depression and sometimes a state of frenzied, breathless excitement. So there's always a switch between that low of depression and that high of mania. So such is referred to as bipolar depression. Okay, so when someone experiences depression, what are the treatments that this person can receive? Now, we have various forms of treatment, but the two major forms of treatment that have been proven are medical treatment and psychotherapy. So medical treatment requires that you visit the hospital, you see a professional, which most of the time will be a psychiatrist, and medications will be prescribed for such individuals. And such medications are usually referred to as antidepressants, and there are so many of them. So with antidepressants that are given to patients or individuals who are receiving treatment for severe depression, also psychotherapy is an approach that has really worked and have helped millions of people all over the world. So what is psychotherapy? It is the application of psychological techniques in addressing the cognitive and behavioral causes or nature of the depressive symptoms and helping the individual to begin to see things differently. So some of the techniques that are used in psychotherapy include cognitive behavior therapy. There's also leading to that suicide. So people who are depressed will often go, and without receiving help, will go through that decline from depression into a state of helplessness and then a state of hopelessness, and then they want to leap out of that depression by committing suicide. But one thing that helps is hanging not up to hope. Hope is very important, and one of the means by which people try to keep up their hopes is through having this spiritual relationship. You know, everybody would like to, not everybody anyway, but many people would like to identify with a supreme being or so, and that helps them in their moment of silence and moments of aloneness. It helps them to continue to stay strong. So these are some of the way out. So finally, I'd like to say that depression is something that can happen to anyone. It is just another condition, just like the physical conditions that we all know, but there is always a way out. You can get help, and you can always get the help when you reach out for it. My name still remains Adeleke Taiwo. So to reach out to us for any other information that you may need, you can see all the information on the screen. So Galaxy TV and Arogi Trauma Care Foundation are on all social media platforms, and you can see the information right there on your screen. Thank you so much.